Hey guys, the BYD Dolphin, one of the most highly anticipated EVs, has been launched in Malaysia already, despite it being available in global markets for quite some time already. So there's plenty of videos as well as photos online. However, I'm going to take you for a quick walkabout of the Dolphin because it seems like quite an interesting EV, and with prices just under 100,000 ringgit for the entry-level standard variant, it's promising to be one of the most value for money EVs currently available in Malaysia. Now, the interior of BYD cars have always been quite impressive in terms of build quality as well as the functionality and features that it has to offer. Now, the Dolphin is no different. Now, let's just backtrack a bit. Malaysians were first introduced to the BYD brand with the Atto 3, which we all know is a huge sales success for BYD Malaysia. Now, the Dolphin is promising to build up on that success because, I mean, look at this interior. It's a nice place to be in, there's no doubt about it. Now, this is the top of the line version, so you get this part leather, part fabric seats, and the driver's side is also electronically adjustable, 6-way electronically adjustable. Passenger seat is also electronically adjustable as well. You get electronic adjustments over there. Now, the standard version, the entry-level variant, gets manually adjustable passenger seats. Now, one of the key takeaways for this interior over here is this rotating 12.3-inch entertainment screen over here. Now, this was one of the key features that blew everybody's mind when the Atto 3 was introduced, and the Dolphin also has this. Now, I believe a lot of nations are going to love this. This lets you customize the interior, and one of the key things that you notice over here is that it gets in the way of the air conditioning vents. Some of you may like all the air conditioning vents pointed towards you, especially on a hot day. Now, the key for that is to have it in portrait mode. And then you can sort of just hog all the air conditioning vents towards yourself. Now, this is actually quite cool. Now, the other thing that I really like about the interior is the general feel and look of things over here. Now, check out this design element. This is really nice. You don't really see this in any other car, so you got to hand it over to BYD in terms of their originality in design. So that's quite nice. I mean, even this, check out the gear selector. This is actually the gear selector. So for you to select N or D or R or P is a button at the side here. So this is actually very cool, very original. Now, this is the volume button, or the volume knob, so to speak, and you get a 5-inch digital meter panel over here, which is actually quite small. So I reckon that if you're going to be buying this for your 60 or 70-year-old parents, or if you yourself are 60, 70 years old, you're going to be probably hard done to actually read the meter panel. But besides that though, it's actually a very nice place to be in. There's absolutely no complaints. You get a key wireless charger over here, and even though there's no storage bin over here, you do get, check out my phone, yeah? You do get this empty part over here, which you can use to store anything. I doubt it's going to fit your handbag, maybe a purse and a wallet. But besides that, you also get a Type-C, a Type-A USB port over there, and more storage space over here. Let's see, it'll fit an iPhone Ultra. Yes, it does. Awesome. There's no complaints. I do think that this is actually quite small. The cup holders might fit a venti Starbucks cup. Now, this panoramic roof, I love panoramic roofs because it allows a lot of light in here. Now, the car is roughly about the size of the Toyota Yaris, perhaps, just roughly about the size of the Toyota Yaris. It's just, with this amount of light coming in, it just makes the interior feel a lot more spacious than it actually is. Let's just go check out the back seats. Now, the back seats are undeniably quite decent as well. I mean, there's enough space for somebody my height, roughly about 182 cm. Now, of course, you get a flat floor panel over there, so you can actually kind of sit sideways if there's not enough room for you. You get a Type A and a Type C USB slot, more cup holders here, and more cup holders over here as well. So in terms of day-to-day functionality, I think the BYD Dolphin is actually quite excellent. You also get ISOFIX mounts. So this is actually perfect for a daily runabout with your kids and such as well. I'm actually quite impressed. The panoramic roof that I was telling you about, it stops right here. So if you're bald like me and if you're sitting at the back, there's very little chances of you burning your head. Now, from the side and from the back, the top of the line model runs on 17-inch wheels. The standard variant runs on 16-inch wheels, which is, if I'm not mistaken, the model that we see over here. These are the 16-inch wheels, or these are the 17. I can't quite tell at the moment. But anyway, in terms of overall design, there's actually no complaints. I mean, check out these lights. These are gorgeous. They look amazing. There's just no denying that. And you get this sort of design panel over here. This is quite cool as well. So like I said about the interior as well, in terms of design, you gotta hand it over to BYD's designers. They actually are quite creative in that sense. And then you don't get a powered tailgate, which is no big deal. And you do get quite a decent boot. It's not only decent, but it's double stacked. So you can keep stuff over here, which is great. And you can keep stuff over here as well. So, look at me, I'm spoiled. I was looking for a button. But anyway, so in terms of overall design, it's obviously a very handsome looking car. I think you better get used to this, because just like the Atto 3, the BYD Dolphin is also going to be a huge sales success. So the Dolphin is available in two variants. One is the standard range model and another is the extended range model. Now the standard range model costs a little under 100,000 ringgit, 99,800 ringgit to be exact. The standard range model gets a total range of 340 kilometers on the WLTP cycle. Its battery measures in at 44.9 kilowatt hour, whereas its motor comes in, it has a 70 kilowatt hour motor that offers 94 horsepower and 180 newton meters of torque. Now, it also accepts DC charging with a max DC charging of 60 kilowatts, 0 to 100 seen off in 12.3 seconds, and it runs on 16-inch wheels. Now, the key difference between both the standard as well as the extended range model is the rear suspension. The standard model runs on a torsion beam suspension, and the extended range model runs on a multi-link suspension. Now, this is important because the multi-link suspension is more comfortable than the torsion beam suspension. The multi-link suspension is also better in corners than a torsion beam. Now, driving the Dolphin is similar to any EV actually. So in that sense, it's not really a bad thing. It's quiet in here. You don't hear much of the outside world. However, I did say earlier about the quality of stuff in here. But now that we are actually driving this car, there are a couple of buzzing sounds and such that are kind of annoying me a little bit. But that's no big deal. I think it's just something that needs to be looked at in the corner here. And there's just a lot of bells and whistles that are going on. I can hear it. It's just not telling me what it actually is. Perhaps a bit more time getting acquainted with the Dolphin will be helpful. But as for what it is, I think it's just a very good day-to-day driver. You get 3 driving modes. You get Sport, Normal and Eco. And how you change it is by this button over here. I'm currently in Sport mode. And if I put my foot down, it's typical EVs, right? It just sort of wants to break your neck at every chance that it gets with just an immediate surge of power. So that's a good thing. But of course, if you keep doing that all the time, it's going to affect your overall range. But besides that though, if I just press this, I'm now in eco mode, and right now it's not threatening to snap my neck, so to speak. But I also have to say that there's a lot of glass in here, that there's great, it lets in a lot of light, which makes the car feel very spacious, very airy, and that's an important thing. I like cars that are spacious, that don't feel too claustrophobic. I also like the fact that there is a small triangular window at the front here, makes it easy to look out, and especially when you're parking in tight confined areas. However, this part over here, right behind the side view, the rear view mirror, this I'm guessing is where all the the radars and all the sensors are placed, because the Dolphin actually comes with a complete ADAS suite as well. So you get things like adaptive cruise control, which is actually very impressive. You get everything. So all of those sensors are placed here. But the problem with it being placed here is that it sort of limits your view outside. Like right in front here is fine, but if you want to look around, I think it could be better. But if this was a bit smaller. However, it's not a deal breaker, so don't get me wrong. It's not a deal breaker. I just think it can be perfect, and I'm just complaining for the sake of complaining. But besides that though, it's just fantastic. We are right now, I have lane keep assist turned on, so it's helping me stay in my lane. It's ensuring that I drive properly, which is also good. I find lane keep assist quite annoying, but the fact that it's there actually is a good thing. It's a very impressive car, there's no doubt about it. Now you get two levels of regenerative braking. You get low or high. Right now, sorry, not low, you get standard or high. So what this does is every time you get off the pedal, it regenerates, helps to recharge the battery from the kinetic energy. Excuse me for a minute. Time to pay my dues. There you go. Now, it's something similar to Volvo's one pedal drive system. So if you can modulate the throttle with that, you don't really have to get on the brake pedal unless in emergency situations. Is that true? Let me try. Yeah, it's just not as smooth. Yep, sort of. Anyway, there's really not much in terms of driving characteristic that distinguishes this EV from other EVs. It's still a quiet interior. It's still, it's just a regular EV. Now, this is the extended range model, so you do get 427 kilometers on the WLTP. The WLTP is, of course, the more accurate measurement unit as compared to the NEDC. So in that sense, 427 kilometers. Right now I am seeing a range of 471 kilometers. Wow. Which is actually quite decent. I'm at 96% charge right now. So 470 kilometers is impressive. Now, on higher speed, well, as I've said, it actually just drives like an EV. Quiet. The steering wheel is muted. You don't really feel what's going on at ground zero with the tires and such. Which is not bad. It's not a bad thing at 125,000. It's just a really fuss-free car, and that's a good thing actually, because you don't want cars that are overly complicated to drive, overly fussy, especially in an EV. But at lower speeds, Well, you get this sort of a very quiet jingle going on, just like some bells and such. Now, I'm not sure if you can hear this, but it's just very quiet. It's like elevator music. You know, when you get into an elevator, there's music playing in the background and such. Now, you get that same thing over here as well. It's not exactly quiet, but it can get annoying. But this is there for pedestrian safety, because what we hear inside here is actually audible on the exterior as well. So pedestrians can hear you coming. Now, one of the key things about EVs is that they are incredibly quiet from the interior as well as the exterior. But in that sense, so this very soft sound is actually to alert pedestrians that you are coming up. So in that sense, that's a good thing for pedestrian safety. It also has all sorts of bells and whistles that are going on. We didn't really get a complete rundown of what this car has to offer. Even the press release didn't say much about the model. So the thing about BYD Malaysia is just seems like the way that they operate is that they just throw you into the deep end and expect you to figure it out. So that was the same with the Atto 3. It's the same with the Dolphin as well. Not a bad thing, because this isn't exactly rocket science. Now, at higher speeds, right now we're doing about 80 kilometers per hour on the Duke Highway, is that you do get some tire roar back into the cabin, and these are some China tires. I can't really remember what they are, so I can't remember. There's so many China branded tires that it's impossible to keep up with all of them. The thing is, because it has ADAS and all sorts of controls, it's always trying to correct you, keep you in your lane even though you have your indicator on. It even alerts you when you're above the speed limit. Like, I know that I'm speeding, right? So I don't need the car to be constantly reminding me. Right now, doing some higher speeds on the Duke Highway, and you do feel a bit of a rumble from the steering wheel. Not a deal breaker. I prefer this rather than a very muted down, dumbed down steering wheel. So, and the thing about EVs is that power is just instantaneous. So 130, 140 kilometers per hour, like that, even in the BYD Dolphin. So with this 66 kilowatt hour battery, the Dolphin does accept up to 60 kilowatt DC charging, which is actually quite low. So even with the 60 kilowatt DC charging, it should take you about an hour or so, roughly, slightly over an hour, to charge this up from 0 to 100%. Quite not exactly fast, but keep in mind that the pricing of this thing. So in that sense, good deal, in my books at least.